Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Pulp Crazy. I'm your host, Jason Aiken, and in this week's episode I'm going to be discussing The Evil in Pemberley House, written by Philip José Farmer and Winscott Eckert. The novel first was published by Subterranean Press back in September of 2009. It was published in two editions. A signed limited edition, which was numbered in 200 copies, and it also came with a chapbook that included some bonus materials. And I don't have the signed limited edition. I have what Subterranean Press called the trade edition. And even though it's called the trade edition, it's still a hardcover. Both of these are sold out from the publisher, and they're only available now in the secondary market. But luckily, back in July of 2014, Meteor House put out a new softcover trade paperback edition. Uh, as with the Subterranean Press edition, this one has cover artwork by the late great Glenn Orbick, and this one comes with a new front piece, an illustration of Pat Wildman by Keith Howell. Now, The Evil in Pemberley House falls under Philip José Farmer's Wold Newton concept, and it's set in Pemberley from Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. The main character of The Evil in Pemberley House is Patricia Wildman. She's the daughter of James Clark Wildman. In Doc Savage, His Apocalyptic Life, which was Philip José Farmer's biography on the pulp hero, Farmer identified the real-life Doc Savage, or the real-life inspiration for Doc Savage, as James Clark Wildman, or Doc Wildman. That's Patricia Wildman's father. And I'm just going to read you the back cover blurb, just to give you an idea what the plot of the story's about. Patricia Wildman, the daughter of the world-renowned adventurer and crime fighter of the 1930s and 40s, Dr. James Clark Doc Wildman, is all alone in the world when she inherits the family estate in Derbyshire, England. In true Gothic fashion, old, dark, and supposedly haunted. But is the ghost real, or a clever sham perpetrated by others to scare her off? As Patricia contends with the questionable motives of her distant relatives, attempts to discern friend from foe, and battles to overcome mysterious attackers, she struggles to reconcile the supernatural with her rational scientific upbringing, while also attempting to work through unresolved feelings about her late parents. Set at Pemberley, from Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, and deeply ingrained in worlds of Sherlock Holmes and Lord Greystoke, as well as the bronze champion of justice, Doc Wildman, The Evil in Pemberley House is a darkly erotic novel with broad appeal to readers of pulp and popular literature, and fans of Philip José Farmer's own celebrated Wold Newton family. I first read this, I think it was back in 2010, maybe even 2009, and at that time I didn't have a whole lot of the Wold Newton family concept under my belt. I hadn't read either of Farmer's biographies that are the two tentpoles of the Wold Newton family concept. They're Tarzan Alive and Doc Savage's Apocalyptic Life. And even though I wasn't very familiar with the Wold Newton family concept, I still really enjoyed The Evil in Pemberley House the first time I read it. It stands on its own as a very well-written, dark, gothic, erotic novel. Very atmospheric, very moody. I think fans of weird fiction, pulp heroes, and mysteries, as well as fans of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, will really enjoy it. I did say this was an erotic novel, and there are some explicit sex scenes in the book, but I think that these actually added to the story rather than detracted from them. They're not gratuitous, as it actually helps propel the book's plot forward, and they're really at the root of the story in general, especially when it comes to Patricia's Electra complex that she has towards her father, Doc Wildman. Now, besides the evil in Pemberley House, there's also a sequel called The Scarlet Jaguar that Meteor House published back in 2013. It's written by Scott Eckert as well, and this has some great cover art by Mark Spiracchio. In addition to the cover art, he has a really nice insert of Patricia here as well. While The Evil in Pemberley House is a Gothic novel, I would put The Scarlet Jaguar more along the lines of a 60s and 70s spy TV show and men's paperback adventure series. This one has some erotic elements too, but they're not nearly as explicit as The Evil in Pemberley House. Now, you can get both of these books off the Meteor House website. I'll put a link to it in the show notes, and I'll also put some links to the Pemberley House blog, Scott Eckert's website, the Philip José Farmer website. I'll put those all in there for you to check out. And one of these days, I'm hoping to do a whole episode just on the Wool Newton family concept of Philip José Farmer. I think that would be a lot of fun, and it would be great to get that information out there to everybody. Well, that's it for this week's episode. As you might have guessed, I tried something a little different this week, doing an actual video cast without a script. I kind of just worked off the cuff here. Figured I'd try something new and give you guys a visual element. But Pulp Crazy is located at pulpcrazy.com. I'm at Pulp Crazy on Twitter and facebook.com/pulpcrazy. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/pulpcast, and you can email me at pulpcrazy@gmail.com. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.